All right. And let's see if it shows up on the page. All right, we're live.
Oh,
Yo.
All right, so everybody that's come out to watch us tonight, it is Syndi-Comics Weekly on Wednesday versus Thursday because everybody's probably going to go watch Black Panther tomorrow. And I blame BJ and Kyle for this. But now we
wait.
always want to cater to everybody, as the best we can, especially
How,
with all these big movies that are
I
coming
am
out.
kind of curious. How is it BJ and I's fault that Marvel's releasing this movie tomorrow?
It always is. It's always the
Fair enough.
comic
Fair
collectors
enough.
fans.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'll take the blame.
Pardon me, everybody out there. I'm got a cold too, so.
Yeah, the
Uh,
flu hit my work pretty bad. There was 4 people out today, so
Jeez.
yeah. Mm-mm.
yeah, this flu thing's going around to everybody. I mean, it's been like nonstop since like November.
Yeah,
Yep.
worse than like almost 10 years now.
And that's the sad part is like nobody can really get a chance to get over it because it keeps mutating too. So you get one thing, you get better on that, and then you get the next one. You're like, yeah, we're all going to be hosed until spring or summertime. I just gave up.
Right.
Yeah. Ugh.
All right, so we got Ham and Jam, Rincon Marble, and Orange Guy. Welcome in, guys.
What's going on?
Hey, everybody.
All right, so this one's a little different than the way we've been running it. So BJ talked about um, a spotlight, on writers and artists and stuff. So this is our initial one. So don't everybody kill us because this is our first one. But with that being said, our first spotlight this time is Charles Sewell, who's done a massive amount of work out there. And
Yeah,
ironically,
yeah.
I want to bring this up too because BJ went to Ollie's and got curse words. It looked like from that picture you posted.
I
Now, did
got
you hear
that one
from
from
Ollie?
Borderlines. It's a comic book store in Greenville, South Carolina. They're having an annual sale. But I got most DCs from Ollie's.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the saga issues were half off, so I was like, yeah, I'm getting them.
You got to jump on those when you can, man, because we all know how graphic novels are. They're like, it's weird how that works sometimes too. Like, they all come out, they're 20, 25 bucks each typically, for a graphic novel.
Hmm.
Hardcovers 50 and omnibuses are 100 usually. But then you get these major sales that they do. Like, I don't know if your comic shops do it like mine. They'll have a like DC or Marvel sale once a year where they get all these in, and then they have a sale on them, and they're like half off or
Yep.
75%, and it's like a liquidation sale of these.
Yep.
That's how I got the Age of Apocalypse omnibus for $25. You
Nice.
know, and I was just like,
Nice.
all right, I'll do that. And then I went back, and then he had Star Wars, the Marvel series, so I picked up both of them.
Right.
And just great, more books to read.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, you guys keep continue. I got to go pull something out of my comic box so I can show everybody.
Not a problem.
You?
So did you, BJ? Did you finish God Country?
Yes, I did. I finished
So,
it when I got off that night. So,
so what was your
um,
overall impressions of it now that you finished it?
it's good, man. It was exciting from beginning to end. The artwork's pretty good too. Storyline. I'm gonna go find some more of his stuff as well.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I finished up Southern Bastards, the Volume 2,
Okay.
Kurt Ford's Volume 2, which we'll probably get into later on, and I'm almost finishing up Dead of the Class. My dumb self started volume 2 instead of volume 1. I caught myself before I finished it. So yeah, which is not bad because you can actually get into volume 2 and it doesn't really affect that much, you know, because it
No,
kind of
not
has a
really.
background. I like that, man. It's good. I'm really excited to see the TV series when that comes out.
Yeah.
Anything 80s wise, I'm gonna get into it pretty good. So I can see it as a really good TV series too.
Yeah. And honestly, Daily Clash just gets crazier as it goes on.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good. There you are.
So I wanted to show this off. Now, this took a little bit to get.
Nicely done.
Charles Sewell, he signed it and everything. It was freaking awesome to get it. And look, and I actually got hooked up with it. A friend of mine, Big Kid Kingpin,
Mhm.
was in down in Grand Rapids, and Charles Sewell showed up, and then so he got a couple of those signed and picked up, and he picked me one up because he knew how much I love Charles Sewell. So
Man,
yeah, I'm still shocked to this day to have it.
I wish I would have knew that because my dad lives about an hour away from Grand Rapids.
Yep,
Man,
definitely. I mean, that's one thing I always learned is like it's weird. It's like Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, like right around there. There ain't nothing to do but drink and read comics or go to like conventions.
I
Yep.
I'm
And
gonna
Nate,
agree on that.
yeah, I wanted to show I have just about the same thing. Except
Oh,
Ryan Brown wrote, "You're in trouble now," but spelled it urine. But that was kind of
Yeah, that's how you did it on mine.
that was awesome.
jeez Louise. And you got a
Oh, and
koala.
then actually on mine, Scotty Young signed mine as well.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I met all of them at the C2E2 last year.
That's awesome. I was excited to get this. I mean, because Sewell and Brown both signed it and they did the sketch on it.
Yep.
Just like, come on. You're not going to get no better than those two together.
Well, no, not only that, but they sketched Margaret, which is awesome.
Uh, See, I wish I could catch Donny Cates that way now.
He's actually going to be in Lexington, March the first or second weekend in March. I don't think I'm going to go down. It's just with C2E2 coming up in April. I want to save all my money, and he's basically the only real reason I want to go down is to meet him, and it's just $40 to just get a couple books signed by him. I just don't think I'm going to pull the trigger as
But
much
how
as I
far?
would like to. It's about hour and a half. Not even really that. Just probably about between hour and hour and a half, somewhere in between there. It's not a bad drive at all.
No, I mean, but once you start adding gas, food,
Oh,
and entry that you
yep,
find that you want to get done while you're there, you kind of lose sight on what you were trying to save for.
exactly. And I know if I go to a comic book convention, it's not going to be, oh, I'm just going to have this one guy sign a couple books. It's gonna next thing I know, I'm $1,000 in the hole and
Been there.
Yeah,
not good
we've all
times.
done that one. I mean, I remember the one, and and I didn't really understand how expensive Stan Lee's stuff was, until I went to WonderCon and he was there, and they wanted, I think, like $800 just for a photo, a signature on a book, and that was it. And I'm like, no,
Yep.
And the ironic part is, he runs Kamikaze, which is called, LA Comic Con now.
Right.
He charges $200 at his own con, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's like, okay, there's a little bit of inflation just because it's, done by the same people who do SDCC.
Right. Yeah, I think when Stan was in Cincinnati, I want to say it was either 300 or 350 is what I paid, and that included a guaranteed seating to his panel, 2 items signed, one of which was a pre-signed poster, which actually ended up being a J. Scott Campbell lithograph of Spider-Man. That was signed. And then I got one item, which I had him sign, Spider-Man 200. And then I got a photo with him. So I didn't think that was too bad, considering at the con alone, he was charging 100 for a signature and 100 for a photo. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the catch-22 is people forget how much the con itself costs in a lot of places now. It used to be $5, $10. Now they're 20 to 100, depending on which one you go to.
Yep. Yeah,
You know, as I
C2E2
look,
just for Friday was 30 or 35.
yeah, I looked at the price for the 3-day pass and it was 75, which isn't bad, you know,
It's
for
not.
3 days. You know, it's just the timing. You know, 3 days of hotel because in the drive there.
Yep.
You know, and like for me, I'm in Cali, so I'd have to fly. You know, so
Right.
you know,
Yeah, Paul Hughes brings up a good fact. When I buy omnibus, I wait until con where you can find them. You can also find some trades for like $5 there too.
Yep.
So that's why I usually go to find my trades mostly, unless you got Ollie's around or one of your local comic stores has a nice sale going on. Borderlands had it 20% off, which is not bad, but it was stuff I wanted to get more expanded into more different writers as well.
yeah. And Paul's saying when I buy omnibuses, I wait until a con where you can find them for a lot cheaper. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can find a lot of them pretty cheap. That's how I got the Zomnibus, you know, from Marvel Zombies. I ended up
Oh,
getting that for like $45, you know, at a con. You know,
Right.
and it was well worth the price. You know, because we all know too. I mean, there is a catch-22. You can buy all the single issues. That's going to cost you a lot. You know, especially if you want the first prints, or you can just buy the omnibus and read all of it. You know, plus more. You know, because you get all the extras they put in there.
Yep.
So it's kind of one of those things. Like, and that's why I buy a lot of single issues right now because it's a weekly, you know, issue. You know, that I can read. You know, but if there's like a storyline, like for example, the Chad Bowers Youngblood, I haven't had a chance. I haven't even seen it on the rack here. You know, from them to buy the individual issues. The only way I can get that's a trade paperback right now, and
yeah,
my stuff doesn't even have it. You know, so it's kind of one of those things. Cons are really good about picking up those obscure books. You know that you're trying to find. Because I went to Frankensons, which is one of our big toy areas, toy and comic shops down here in LA. And I was actually trying to get the back issues of Venom, you know, the new series that came out. And trying to find Venom number 2 and number 6 was astronomically expensive, you know, because everybody wanted those copies where Eddie Brock was coming back as Venom, you
Right.
know. So it took me forever to find, because I wanted the first prints. I didn't want the second or the third or the fourth. I wanted the first prints, you know, because to me, that's how the book originally was made, you know, because there is some times where colors are changed, words are changed, and different printings as well. So I wanted how the story really was. It was just like X-Men Gold number 1, you know, with all the controversy that happened around there. I have 3 copies of number 1, the original version, you know, and one of them was a slab for that reason because there was so much controversy about it. And then I picked up the second print just to, you know, read the difference to see what it looked like. There was like 3 panels changed. That was it, you know.
yeah.
So it wasn't that big of a change, but that's why I always like those ones. All right, so it's time to talk about Charles Sewell.
Yes.
All right, Q&A time. BJ, you said
Yeah,
last week you couldn't talk about this because you were doing research.
yeah. I just went up to
What
look on.
was?
I just went on Wikipedia to learn about a little history of him. Basically, he's just his full time job. He's a lawyer. He
Yep.
mainly works with immigration, and from what I was overviewed there, his first comic was Letter 44
Negative.
or first two.
First comic was Strongman, the original graphic novel.
Okay, and
Yep.
then it was Letter 44.
Yep.
Okay,
And then
yeah,
he had 27, the series.
yeah.
That was his
Okay.
first solo series he did.
But apparently I'm a pretty big fan of his because I've got a lot of his Marvel stuff. I didn't know about it. I mean, I used my CLZ app and I typed his name in and it brought up all the issues I have with his, which was a great app. Um, like the Civil War from the Secret Wars, which I think was a really good story. My favorite character in the Star Wars universe, Lando.
Yep.
Lando. Yep.
Yeah, sure. And then I was a big fan of this. I'm not sure if a lot of people were with the Uncanny Inhumans series as well. This is the variant cover of the hip hop variants. I believe this is Outcast Equimini album, which right there was my high school, right? High school life right there. And then of course curse words.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't realize like how much stories he actually wrote. He wrote Death of Wolverine. People forget that. He was,
And,
ironically, he's the one who killed Wolverine.
Gosh.
And one of the ones I thought was kind of obscure that he wrote was Thunderbolts. He actually did some of the early Thunderbolts issues.
Okay.
Like issue 12 was his first Marvel work he did on it. And this was the Baron Zemo version, before he gets thrown out and Luke Cage takes over. That was real shocking to me because I thought his first works was Inhuman, because Inhuman was before Marvel Knights he did, but no, it was Thunderbolts, and I was like, so I went back and actually looked at Comixology, and I read through a little bit of that book, and you could tell he was drawing for straws on Thunderbolts. Like you could tell he was starting to, he was starting to grow. You could tell, this is when he first started in Marvel. But yeah, I was glad he got kind of taken out of Thunderbolts and put in other stuff for that reason. The one thing that people usually forget about Charles Soule, though, is he's actually a huge DC guy as well.
He's done everything.
He has. I mean, we always talk about him every week, but I'll just read. I did some major works they did. So he did Red Lanterns. He wrote all of Superman / Wonder Woman, Swamp Thing. He did the Green Lantern saga.
And Swamp Thing was like a good 20-issue run. Like he basically finished up New 52.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was interested in getting some of those. If I can find them over at my local comic store for his used prices, I'll probably pop on those in a minute.
Yeah, the Swamp Thing run was really good because he took the Swamp Thing from Brightest Day and evolved them a lot. Into it was he evolved them, but he kind of brought them back to the old '70s version of Swamp Thing with Alan Moore. That's how it felt like when I was reading it. It wasn't the happy to glad Swamp Thing. This is the guy who is part of the Earth, and he is one of the components that could help destroy it if he wants to.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely a good read on that one.
Cool. Might show my age. Do you guys ever remember the TV series on USA back in the day? I think it's the early 90s. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good stuff right there.
Swamp Thing. Yeah, I remember that one. And then what was the other one we had? I'm trying to remember what that one was. The Fantastic Four movie from CBS. It was like 1994 or something like that, I think. It was one of the worst things I've ever saw. Like you guys probably remember, like, we had some good movies, like The Incredible Hulk. We had Lou Ferrigno and Bixby and those guys. Those are some okay movies. The Thor one, Incredible Hulk versus Thor, no. And it kind of kept that same thing. It seemed like it's like we had the bad Thor movie versus Hulk. Then we get this bad Fantastic Four. Then I saw that there was like this Spider-Man movie that was done, and it was horrible. I'm like, and a Doctor Strange, and I'm like, oh god.
And Captain America as well.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I actually got the Captain America and the sequel on DVD.
Nice. I actually, maybe it's the child in me because I rented those every single time we went over to Blockbuster Video. I loved them. with the clean shield.
Yep.
Dolph Lundgren's Punisher. Don't forget that one.
Well, it's like Masters of the Universe. one of the worst movies ever done, in comparison to the actual, show and the toy line. It's just like
Yeah.
Dolph Lundgren. Like Frank Langella, he actually tried to be Skeletor. You could tell he tried,
Yeah.
But we had all these obscure characters within the movie. We were like, this makes no sense. Why are we on Earth? It made no sense, But that is kind of the cats. We're all kids of the 70s, 80s, and 90s, So we all grew up during that time frame where we all love comics, but we didn't have the cinematic, universe like we do today. We didn't have the CGI. We didn't have that. We had people in spandex. That's what we had. Superman, they made that work for the first two movies. The next two are horrible,
Yeah. Ooh.
But that's kind of the catch-22 is we've evolved, and comics have evolved just like that too. Because if you remember in the 70s and 80s, we used to have the old like the print. You remember the little dots on all of our comics, that on all the panels they had all the dots on it, And then we finally got to the 90s where they got rid of a lot of that stuff. They just made smooth shading, for a lot of things. Same thing. Things are going to evolve over time, And Sewell's a good example of that. He's really evolved over the time frame, And we're not talking about 10, 20 years. We're talking like 5 years. He hasn't been around that long.
No.
He's done DC, he's done Image, he's done Marvel. I actually read his old stuff, 27, a long time ago, which he did with Shadowline. And that was a subprint of Image at the time.
Right.
And it's a really good read. If you can find it, I think it's out of print a lot of times now, but if you find it, 27 was a good read. So, question of the day, though. What is your favorite series by Charles Soule? In the gambit of everything. Now that you know everything that he's written, because a lot of people didn't realize he did Death of Wolverine, Civil War, Inhumans versus X-Men.
I mean, now that you have all the Star Wars books, like you have Poe Dameron, you have Lando, you have now you have
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I mean, like that was the funny thing. Like I didn't even realize because like I own Lando, I own all the Star Wars miniseries. I had no idea it was him. I knew he was doing Poe Dameron because I actually had my copy signed by him, but number one. But yeah, no, I had no clue that he did Lando. He did was it the Obi-Wan and Anakin series?
Yep.
I mean, like you talk about some of the biggest like miniseries that Star Wars had. He had a hand in it, and now he's doing Vader.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, and he's also writing Daredevil right now, too.
He is.
And Daredevil's about to have its 600th issue here in about a month or two. So he's kind of linked to that. And he's been writing that for almost 3 years.
Yep. Yeah, and apparently he says there's no plans that he's stopped anytime soon. He's got some cool stuff. And that's actually one thing I wanted to bring up was, so like his normal job is actually, he's also a lawyer. And I thought that was really interesting that how many like lawyer-based characters he's written. So he has Daredevil. He's done She-Hulk.
Yep.
It's just funny, I think that he does feel, and honestly, this is probably one of my favorite Daredevil runs because it incorporates the courtroom drama just as much as it does, the superhero punchy of the Daredevil side of Matt Murdock. And that's one thing I really, really enjoy. And I think the reason that it combines those two so well is because of Charles Soule's, experience as a lawyer himself. And I thought that was interesting how many books Marvel's put him on where the main character is a lawyer.
Okay. I never thought about that way.
And Brad Campbell joined us in. Hey, Brad. And he says that He-Man movie killed the Masters of the Universe franchise. It was awful. And actually, if you haven't seen it, go watch The Toys That Made Us on Netflix.
Yep.
I didn't know a lot of the stuff in the background of Masters of the Universe until yesterday. Like I knew that Mattel made it, and it made it was their franchise to compete, with Star Wars from Kenner and stuff like that. But it was kind of a cool thing to watch the background. And and it's funny, like the dude was saying like, "Oh yeah, we made all this stuff up as we went."
Yeah.
The comic was made up. Oh, we're doing a comic. Oh no, we're doing a cartoon series. It's like, dang, it wasn't really planned out. Like some of the other, like Transformers was really planned out. Larry Hama came in, and those guys and said, we want to build a comic. From that comic, we wanted to build a cartoon, and then from the cartoon, all these toys we can use, and vice versa. So it's always been that spin, which started first, the comic, the cartoon, or the toys. Actually, it was the toys that started the first, because the toys were all imported in from Japan, in the late 70s first. We had a couple of them that was dropped off early in like 79 and 80 and 81. And then the actual series came out in 83, the comic did. And then 84, of course, we all know what happened in 84. But yeah, back to Sewell. I did not know this until I read through it this morning. He's one of the creators of Gwenpool.
I saw he was credited with the holiday special, but no, I didn't know he actually was one of the creators. Huh.
Yeah, because the Howard the Duck was the first issue that had Gwenpool in it. The
Right.
second appearance was the Gwenpool special, but Sewell had actually did some writing, some plots for Howard the Duck.
Okay.
So I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know either until I was reading through some of the CBR stuff. But that was interesting to me. Now, do you think on his Daredevil run, though, that he's getting close to being like the Fall from Grace Daredevil now, though? That we're going to run into an issue where he's just going to, like, self-combust again?
He could. I think that's the thing I like about Sewell's run so far is nothing has really kind of been straightforward. And I don't know where he's going to take it. I could definitely see that happening now that because like we have the whole story arc of how he got his secret identity back and everything like that. So I could see it happening, and I think Soul could do a really good job with kind of that downtrodden kind of cast out again Daredevil.
Because, I mean, I tell you, that's one of my favorite runs was the Shadowland, series they did with Marvel Knights, and it was Bendis at his best, writing it. There's like, it's always funny, like, I always remember the initial Daredevil, in the 60s. I remember the Frank Miller run.
Frank Miller, yep.
I remember the Fall from Grace, era, and then I remember the Marvel Knights. In between, we're talking like 30 years where there was really bad writing and really bad artistry done in Daredevil, and it was one of those things. It's like, okay, Sewell came in and kind of redid it all again, and it's kind of he put out that fresh breath into it. But I've read some of it, and it's like, okay, I'm seeing the same thing that happened between the Frank Miller and it happened, with Azzarello and those kind of guys. And it's like, I think it's because it's been worn out so much with Daredevil. It's the same stories are starting to be regurgitated so much.
Yeah. And I think that's the issue you run into with a character like Daredevil, where it's a little bit more of a grounded reality, as opposed to, because, I mean, if you really think about it, Daredevil, I mean, he has heightened senses as far as being blind and everything like that, but nothing too crazy. And like his villains are pretty grounded in reality. So he kind of needs more personal experiences like the Born Again storylines and things like that, that affect more of his surroundings and affect like his relationships, as opposed to having, some galactic force come in and try to take over things. So I think that's probably why maybe Daredevil and Batman to some extent, why we see kind of maybe some of the same stories over and over again, is just because there's not, to kind of keep that character grounded into the world they've created for him. It can't be something it's a little bit more personal, like on a level, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Makes sense. Nightwalker says, "Weren't you in Green Day, Nate?" No. I remember when Green Day came out in the 80s with Kerplunk, but no. I agree. It's going to be chaotic. I mean, I mean, the Kingpin's back again, so it's like, okay, how many times, and he's supposed to be the mayor and the good guy of the city now. We all know what's going to happen, All right, 30 years of King, almost 50 years now, the Kingpin being what he is, it's like, okay, it's not going to change. I would like to see is a new series with Daredevil back with the Marvel Knights again, you know, because to me that was my favorite run. A lot of them did, with the Punisher, with Blade, with Elektra. It's like where's Elektra at? I haven't seen her in years.
No.
Not since probably like Secret Invasion, maybe.
When they said that she was the super, she was a super scroll or scroll instead, it's like, okay, that was a portion of it, but it was like she was still Elektra when she got brought back to life the first time.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, where would some of these get? Like Stick is dead. Stick died in the Frank Miller run. And they never brought him back. They brought his ghost back for like a little bit, but when they were fighting the Hand in the Alter world, but it was like he was still dead, which I kind of actually liked that he was still dead because he did his thing. He taught Elektra, he taught Daredevil to be who they are, and it's like okay. But I like to see the Hand actually come back, with all the things they've been doing with the Netflix series, with the Hand, they keep elaborating on it every year, and then the Hand, of course, crossed over into Iron Fist, It was like, okay, when are we going to see the Hand back in the comic again?
Oh, you kind of got it with, what was his name? Ten Fingers?
Yeah, and they did make an appearance in All New Wolverine as well.
Yeah.
And it was funny because the guys that just go away to the Hand, they all just left. It was just funny.
I haven't read any of those yet.
Yeah, I'll say, I love All New Wolverine. That's been one of the best books I've read in a long time. Just the storyline, it's like it really felt like a continuation of Wolverines, when they came out with the story after Death of Wolverine. It's like you've got the group of Wolverine people named, and then they all show up in the same book, And we also saw X-23 take over the mantle. That won't be for long though, because the Hunt for Wolverine's coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out, I think it's in April or late March. It's going to change everything. And I didn't know this either, though. Sewell wrote Wolverines.
Yes.
Because I had taken a gap away from Marvel for a long time because I got so tired of reading Marvel stuff because it kept going in the same loop over and over again. So I went independent for a long time. I was doing IDW, Image, Dynamite, and Boom Studio stuff. When I came back and saw, oh crap, they actually killed Wolverine. I had to go back and read Death of Wolverine. And then I ended up picking up Wolverines, the trade paperbacks, to read through that. And I was shocked,
Those are some more I got to pick up as well from trades.
And there's another one too. It's called Logan, the Legacy. There's like some different. There's like a couple of There's like some one shots. I don't know if they have them in a graphic novel or not. But I will say I do like how he's writing Astonishing X-Men right now, though.
Yes, I do too.
Well, it's kind of ironic. He kills Wolverine back, but he brings Charles Xavier back.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, dude. Really? I could have left Xavier dead for years.
Yeah, it's a younger Xavier now too. So see how that is.
Well, I liked how they did that storyline though. They showed that it was really like Xavier's soul was stuck in the Shadow Realm, with the Shadow King. He's like, okay, so he put all of his consciousness into it, and it's like then he does, and he's been stuck there for how many years since Cyclops killed him?
What, 2 years?
Yeah.
3 years?
It's like, and it's funny because in the original X-Men, I'm a huge Gold and Silver Age guy too. In the original X-Men, they killed him like 5 times within like 2 years. The first series of X-Men, and they're like, nope, he's dead. Nope, he's alive. Nope, he's dead. Oh, that was a ghost. No, that was. It's like, oh my god. It's like just or keep him alive. I'm tired of going back and forth. But I tell you, I do like And you probably read it, BJ's the X-Men Blues, the cross time capers they've been doing, where they bring Charles Xavier the second into it, and I haven't seen him in a long time in books.
Since Children of the Atom, I think, when they
Yeah,
had
I mean it's been a long.
2-3 years. It's got to be.
Welcome in, Chicken Fried Steak. Man, that's a good name for YouTube, man. Chicken Fried Steak.
Works down
Like
here.
it.
All right.
What's your favorite Soul series there, Nate?
Favorite one?
Mm-hmm.
Probably going to be Inhumans versus X-Men from Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, curse words from Image. That's easy.
Mm-hmm.
But my favorite one was when he did Legends of the Dark Knight for DC.
Yeah.
Okay.
He only did like 2 or 3 issues, and they just literally let Sewell go and do whatever he wanted to do with Batman, which was, and that was like early in his career. He did that, and I was like, this is awesome. I wasn't a big fan of the Red Lanterns. I had read through some of it after the War of the Lanterns, and it just kind of dragged out a lot.
Yeah.
And it was like a lot of those Green Lanterns after Rebirth. They said, "We're done. We're gonna do like 3 books and call it a day." And I was actually happy about that because I was reading. I mean, I'm a huge Green Lantern fan, but I was like, I don't even buy any today because it's got dumb. It's got seriously dumb in Green Lantern lately. There's just too much stupid things going on. There's no central story anymore.
Yeah.
It's like in the 90s and the 2000s, we had Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, who's never been Green Lantern, and John Stewart, and then Guy Gardner. Those are my Green Lanterns. So when
Yeah.
they made Green Lantern crazy, turn him into Parallax, he destroys the universe, rebuilds it again during Zero Hour, and then he comes back, in Final Night to turn into the Spectre. Now that series was awesome.
Yeah.
When Hal Jordan was the Spectre, that was amazing. you know. And then, of course, when Jeff Johns brought Green Lantern and the Flash back, during their rebirths, I loved it. And I loved that initial run all the way up through Brightest Day. And then I read some of the New 52, and you can see that the writings are going downhill, like they were stretching for stories. We had War of the Lanterns, and all of that. I'm like, oh gosh. The rise of the Lanterns, rise of the White Army, and I'm like, really? And then Kyle Rayner is the supreme being of all Green Lanterns. I was like, no, that shouldn't happen. That should always be Hal Jordan, if anybody, you know. So it's like they kind of went off a deep end.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny when I went back and read Green Lantern Saga by Charles Soule. He brought him back to the original, like you were reading them in the '60s or '70s.
Cool.
It's like it was almost like Neil Adams or Danny O'Neill was there writing the story, which was a refresh to go back to it. Um, but yeah, those are my favorite ones.
Okay.
All right, Kyle, what's your favorite one?
Uh, Honestly, I think overall, I really like the Daredevil run. I love his finish up for Swamp Thing. But I'm gonna just say honestly, I think my favorite thing is curse words. It's the one book I think every single stream we have done so far I have mentioned. And I think the reason being is I feel like that is since it's creator owned, obviously, and for Image, he has full control over where the story goes, what he wants to put in it, and I think that really shines through. Whereas I feel like some of the Marvel and DC stuff, while he's a fantastic creator, and especially the Star Wars stuff, for as good as it is, he is kind of limited into, okay, it has to fit the Star Wars mold for this character. It has to be approved by, how many other people. And while he does that very, very well, there's just something about curse words that just has a bit of a mystery to it. I mean,
uh,
we're 2 arcs in, and it's one of those books that it really hasn't told us a whole lot about what's really going on with Wizard. But yet I can't like. So I feel like some books I'd be bored now. I'd be like, all right, come on, just tell me what's going on. But like the whole pacing of everything is perfect. It's kind of like like the dangling a carrot in front of a rabbit or whatever, and just kind of it just pacing along very, very nicely. And it's just like the humor, the mystery of kind of what's going on, the way that the whole world, which the HOLE world, is set up, is just fantastic. The world building, which is huge for me, like in fantasy type writing, has to be set up really well, and I think he has done a phenomenal job with that. And like I said, what are we, 11 issues in now?
Yeah,
and,
11.
and it's just, I mean, it's as good as it was issue 1. And like I said, just like the way that he mixes the humor, the drama, like just like I don't know, like, and the one thing that like really I keep going back to with curse words is just how cool, like the way that he set up the Wizards rules in our world. And I thought that was like one of the most creative things ever. Is this may be a little spoilers, but the way that he feeds on our Earthlings' faith in like a football team to recharge his magic, that kind of blind faith. Like I don't know, it's just like creative things like that, that I don't see him being able to put into a Marvel or DC book, unless it was something like a new character he created or anything like that. And I mean, it's just Curse Words is just a phenomenal book, and I'd say that's probably my favorite.
That's awesome. We got a couple new guys in. Wasatch Pop's in the house, and J-Lip came in. And then Nightwalker came in and said, what comics are y'all into? I'm into a ton of books, like a serious ton of books. Um, from Marvel to DC to Image. Dynamite's starting to write more Ash versus Evil Dead stuff, so I'll probably be buying that when that comes out. But yeah, you'll kind of see the haul when we get to that portion of tonight's stream, especially since I was out for 2 weeks from picking up stuff. But the sad part is my comic shop is closing. I just found out yesterday, so now it's going to make it interesting. Hypno is one of the best comic shops in the U.S. And it was number 2 at one point. So it's like So now it's going to be one of those things like, where do I go get books at? It's like I've already looked at like Midtown Comics doing a subscription and stuff, and then Hypno tells me today, oh no, you can just buy through us. We'll ship it to you. I'm like, I'm good with that. Just keep my same pull list, keep doing that stuff, and then keep sending them my way. We all know too that takes a while to get set up. And that was a nice thing too, is that they're just moving to Nevada from California, so shipping time should be pretty minimal as far as getting books in and stuff. So that might change kind of how my pull is every week. I might be a week behind you guys on certain things, but yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out. If not, I can just go buy graphic novels somewhere else.
Right.
Mike Moyota's in the house. What's up, Mike?
Right.
So, with that being said, we kind of went over the spotlight with Charles Soule. So, what do you guys think for next week? What's some people that you guys have been starting to think about that you might want to do next week?
Actually, I think I got it wrong last week on the stream. I said it was going to be Donnie Cates this week, I think. Because BJ messaged me and he was like, "Hey, it is Charles Soule, right?" And I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's Donnie Cates." And I had to go back and look, and I was like, "Oh man, I would have felt really dumb today."
Yeah, because you said Donnie Cates on the live feed last week, and I was like,
Right.
wait a minute, scroll down. I wasn't wanting to double, triple check and everything. So, yeah, I'm cool with Cates.
Okay, we'll do Donnie next week. Donnie just as bad as Charles Soule. Just where everything he's got lately. I mean, I just picked up a comic, was it called Black Eyed Kids, that Donnie Cates was writing at one point, and I'm like, this is just weird, which makes sense. It is Donnie Cates, but I mean, it's like this was weird even for him, But I kind of hope it ends Redneck soon. I really do. I hope he goes to 12 issues and it's done. I'm starting to get fed up at Redneck.
Yeah.
Have you read the Ghost Fleet?
No, I've got it on a pickup. I gotta pick it up from another comic shop.
Okay. That one's a bit odd, but it's fantastic.
See, I kind of wish we still had like some of those old like eerie and epic comics for those reasons. 'Cause you guys remember we used to be able to get like fantasy and horror and stuff like that? Because we really don't have that right now. We get some things in Image, and that's about it. And I'm
Yep.
sorry, Constantine is not horror. I don't want to read another Hellblazer. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a good series, but it's just like, okay, that's not what I think of when I think of a horror book. You
Right.
know,
Yeah,
even Mark.
Image actually, I feel like Image has a ton of horror. Like that's probably the main one that has most horror right now. I know Aftershock and Black Mask have a couple, but I mean those are extremely small publishers. Because I think of Baby Teeth from Donnie. That's on Aftershock, I believe.
Yep,
yeah,
that one, and then the one who did Black Eyed Kids too.
Is that
Um,
on Aftershock?
yeah, it's Aftershock. It's like Dynamite. I mean, Dynamite. That's pretty much all they do is horror books now. And they'll do Red Sonja. They'll throw Vampirella in there and some other ones. But it seems like it was always Ash versus Evil Dead, Ash versus Freddy versus Jason, and it was like,
Yep.
and I love those stories. I mean, it's good to have new stories outside of the movies. But it's like, okay, when am I going to get a new Hellraiser book?
Right.
When am I going to get it go back to that kind of reading, like House of Mystery, House of Secrets kind of stuff.
yeah.
You know,
And
and I don't think we're going to see it because I don't think there is an interest in it right now.
mhm. And you still got Dark Horse doing the Predator and Alien
Yep.
issues here and there. Marvel, I think probably the closest they had was maybe a couple years ago with Weird World. With Jason Aaron wrote the miniseries, I want to say, and then they had a regular series that ran to about maybe 10 issues, but they never got to finish up. So you're like leaving with the cliffhanger, and I was like, man, this kind of sucks.
I hate those. Well, it's like Marvel did that Monsters Unleashed book, and it's like, and they made all the monsters funny. And it's like, okay, come on, people. It's like, no, no, no. Scotty Young was doing the artistry. Okay, I get it. He always draws everybody in a kid's form. I get that. But it's like, come on, really, Fing Fang Foom, you should not be just playing with a kid. You know,
Yeah,
he's one of the freaking villains within the Incredible Hulk. Really, come on. Oh, I don't know. I'd like to see some books. I mean, and that's why I was so excited when Spirits of Vengeance came back, because I was like, okay, getting back to that kind of storylines, and then we're gonna get Damnation, but it won't be the same. It's not gonna. It's probably gonna be a huge fight between Doctor Strange and Mephisto all over again. You know, but I don't know. I'd like to see something like really scary again. And I just haven't seen nothing like that in a lot of years.
Have you read Cullen Bunn's Regression from Image?
I have Regression. Yep.
I thought that one was pretty good.
I tell you, it was funny. Have you read Pestilence yet?
I've not now.
It was funny because I walked in today and they had I think they did another run of #1 this month, and I thought that series came out like 6 months or a year ago,
Huh.
and I was like, oh, so I picked it up and started looking through it. It was kind of on the lines of like King Arthur and those kind of things, but it was like with all the blood and gore and everything with it,
Okay.
you know. So it was kind of a cool read. I might go and buy the trade paperback of it. I just thought it was kind of funny to see the first issue just hanging on a rack today.
Huh.
cool. Okay.
All right. So what'd you guys get this week?
My turn, your turn.
Go. I actually did not pick anything up this week, so it's all you, sir.
Oh,
Where are they at? Here they are. Just something small. Besides, because I got a big old haul this past weekend from trades and whatnot. Um, X-Men Blue number 21 with the Poison X going. Young Blood number 9 more Jim Toe and Chad Bowers. And I picked up another trade, Killer Be Killed Volume 2 for a good price there again.
Okay. That's a good one, man.
I haven't read Volume 1 yet, but I'm just catching it. If there's a deal, I'm going to go ahead and grab it. So.
That's
All
my
right.
goal. Every single person on the Syndi-Comics read Killer Be Killed.
Killer Be God and Country.
Yes.
Because, I mean, God and Country is one of the ones that brought me back into the Image side. You know. All right. So you guys asked how many books I read. This is too much for Nate. So first up we got, and I don't know which ones came out this week versus last week. I lost count. Weapon X. Highly tell everybody on this stream, go read Weapon X. If you like anything X-Men, you like Wolverine, go read this. It's freaking awesome. It's one of my favorite series of the year. X-Men Blue 21. Of course, this is a Poison X saga. You know, and if you don't know what that's about, it's about the continuation where we had Edge of Venomverse, and now it's X-Men Blue and Venom crossed over for the Poison X series. Cable. Of course, we have Gideon. He came back. So they are now back again. And this is a cool cover. I like this one. So this is X-Men Gold.
Mm-hmm.
We got Miss Marrow, and then we got Avalanche. And I haven't seen the Brotherhood in years. So it's kind of cool to see them to come back. It's actually the regular, them. And then I picked up X-Men Red, #1. And then they threw this one in for free today. They had one of these variants left over. Because I missed out on all the other variants, which I was kind of bummed about. And you guys probably remember, I think it was maybe a month ago, I was reading X-Men Grand Design.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the second printing of the variant edition because my shop never got the first print. And the first print is going for like $11. And I'm like, I don't want to pay that. $2.99, I can do that. But it's kind of cool. I like how it's got the old Cyclops on it from, like the 70s on it. This one's been really fun to read. This is a fun book to read. Punisher War Machine. Just imagine, Punisher in the War Machine armor, and you get to go kill a bunch of people. I mean, you can't go wrong with that, Let's see. IE Hunter, what's up, man? Let's see, we got Old Man Hawkeye, #2. Of course, this is a prelude to Old Man Logan. Let's see. Marvel 2-in-1, as close as we're going to get to a Fantastic Four. They're actually searching for the other two. So it's going to be fun to see if they actually find them or not.
Cool.
Venom, #161. This is kind of like an intermission between what happened with Omega to here. And then, sadly, the last issue of Spirits of Vengeance, #5. And let's see. And of course, Marvel starts with another saga as soon as my comic shop closes. So this will be fun to find.
I didn't see that at my store last 2 weeks. I'm going to have to ask them about that.
Yeah, because it's really that gap after the Guardians, This is the gap between Infinity Countdown and Guardians. And I'm actually excited to read this one. Because if Warlock's actually, the real Adam Warlock is actually back, okay, is he going to get the gauntlet or not? Or is he going to steal the stones from everybody in the Marvel Universe that has them today? Or what's he going to do? That's kind of the thing. He looks like a kid, too, though, compared to what he looked like in the 90s.
Yep.
And this, of course, is sadly coming to an end. Dark Knight's Metal. This one, of course, is a Wild Hunt. And then my boy Neil Adams and Dead Man #3. But yeah, that's everything I got for this week, and probably be the last haul I have for a little while. Like I said, until I get reestablished.
Nice.
All right. Yeah, Mike likes Grand Design too. So, oh, I did. I tried to go get that Thanos comic with Ghost Rider in it, and they were sold out today.
Oh, did you?
And I was pissed because I wanted to read that, you know. And I was like, no, I want to read that storyline. And he was like, yeah, good luck. Because I guess it's going like, it's selling out everywhere. Everybody
Yeah.
wants that Thanos book now.
Yeah. Yeah, I was mistaken. I guess it is a future Punisher. It may not be Frank Castle at all. It might be like a 2099 style. So,
And that's what my comic guy George was saying, is that it's like 2100 or 2200 something AD, and this is the new Ghost Rider, but it's a descendant of Frank Castle though. I think
okay.
it's something like that. It's like, you know, it's sort of like how we had X-Men 2099. Some of them were descendants of the original X-Men. I think that's kind of how it is in the vein of that. So I was like, okay, as long as it's not, you know, Robbie Reyes' descendant, that's the Punisher, and that, you know, I'm okay. And
Yeah.
no disrespect to anybody who does like, you know, Robbie Reyes. He's just not my Ghost Rider. My Ghost Rider was always Johnny Blaze, you know. That's the one I grew up with, you know. Or even better, the Phantom Rider. I actually have that whole series, the Phantom Rider, you know, from the 70s and 60s.
Huh. Look that one up.
Yeah, so Phantom Rider was the original Ghost Rider. And it was all during the West, of course, Western time frame. Um, I understood. Did I hear Ghost Rider? Yes, you did. Um, and I did want to show this off. I did get this guy.
Nice.
Wow.
And this is freaking out. This is how we should have got Ghost Rider the first time. You know, and I like the outfit a lot better because it's the blue, you know, the blue and black versus just the white and black. The white and black is more Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, in my opinion, because you really don't see, you know, him. It was always the same way. And then I got this gal. And I will tell you, if you're gonna buy any of these two, get the Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
This bike does not like to stand up on its own. It's got like this one little kickstand right here, and it doesn't want to stand on its own. Mine leans against the shelf, pretty much. You know. But yeah, I kind of wanted to share that with everybody.
Very nice.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I had, guys. Did you guys have anything else tonight?
I don't think so.
No, I didn't get anything figure-wise since last week with the Samurai Spidey and the Mezco Wolverine.
Yeah, I got that Wolverine, and I got the X-Force Deadpool.
I wanted to get that after I saw Josh show that off. Bold
Yeah,
School.
Yeah, you know the rabbit hole that's going to turn into, right? You know, we got an X-Force Wolverine coming out. So, you know, we're all hoping that we get a Psylocke, an Archangel, and a Warpath to go with it. I don't think we're going to get Phantom X. I think that's a stretch too far for Mezco. You know, I don't think we're going to see that one. But if we at least get the core group, I'm good with that. I mean, I want to see a Mezco Archangel with wings like this big, you know?
Yeah. I'd grab a pre-order a Psylocke in a heartbeat.
And that's what I did. I pretty much found out that as soon as it was coming out, I pre-ordered them. And then my local connection down here, he got them. And I said, I want it. Put me down for it. Cancel pre-order. Because it was just, you know, that was a catch. We all know how that NYCC Wolverine went. I mean, if you didn't get it that day through Mezco or through somebody you knew, you didn't get it. And you're not going to. And it's skyrocketing in price, too, on eBay.
I think that didn't even last more than like an hour or two.
Nope. And that's why as soon as I saw it go up on Mezco's site, I put it on the syndicate. I said, go get it if you want it. And for the price, you couldn't beat it. I mean, really. The only thing I wish it would have had more accessories, and that box was small compared to the rest.
I wondered about that because that was my first Mezco, and I expected the box to be a little bit bigger.
Well, and it's like, where is it? So the Uncanny X-Force comes in a, this is the silver tint. It's a PX exclusive one.
Right.
There's 1,000 freaking accessories in this little box.
Yeah.
And it's the same price as the NYCC Wolverine was, when it first came out. So if you're out there, don't sleep on this one, too. This will sell out, and then you won't be able to get it. Because what will happen is once Wolverine comes out, everybody's going to be trying to backtrack and get the Deadpool. It's going to be gone. Yeah. It was like remember when the Punisher PX exclusive version came out? Good luck finding that one now. You can find the regular version of it, with the metal case with all the stuff in it.
Yeah.
All right. And IE asked, anybody got an extra Wolvie? Want to help out a fellow hunter? IE, go talk to our fig plug. You know he can find it if anybody else can't. But yeah, that's pretty much been the big ones. Just those ones, and then I've been on a Storm Collectibles kick lately now. I've been getting the Mortal Kombat ones, but I'm only doing the Bloody Edition version of those. I already got the Sub-Zero, the Scorpion, and the Reptile, so I'm just waiting for Shao Kahn to come out, and then you're probably going to see a lot at C2E2, Kyle, for as far as figures go. So yep. I want to see if they show Goro again, because Goro was supposed to come out 1.5 years ago.
Oh, was it?
That's what everybody wants.
Oh, you know what? New Black Series on big 6-inch for the Solo movie. Did you see those?
I'm actually probably going to pick up the Lando. Out of all them figures, the only one was the Lando. That one looked awesome. I mean, the coat and it was fun. It kind of reminded me. Yeah, I'm going to try it too. It looks like an alternate version of Star-Lord when you look at Lando. It's like he's got the scarf, he's got the jacket. I'm going to take that head off and put a Star-Lord head on it and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I like Glover. He's a good actor and a good artist too.
Oh yeah.
If you haven't seen it, you got to watch Atlanta. It's an absolutely hilarious show over on FX.
See, and that's cats. I haven't had much time to watch much like TV. I finally caught up on The Flash last weekend.
I haven't.
And it was funny because I watched Legends of Tomorrow last night, and Constantine's in it. The actual real actor, not the cartoon thing. And it's been really good. I mean, DC's been killing it on a lot of those. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this year has kind of sucked. The whole we're in space kind of thing, and it's like, okay. I haven't really seen a good Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since they had the Ghost Rider last year.
I think a couple episodes behind on that.
But yeah, there's a lot of those series now that as well. And what was the other one? Cloak and Dagger's coming out soon.
Yep.
But I want to see that one. It's Freeform.
Freeform.
Oh, that's right.
One of the
Runaways is on Hulu.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big Runaways fan, so I'm not gonna sign up for Hulu just to watch it. I've got Netflix, and so I'm like, okay, if I can't watch it there, then I'll just wait for it to come on DVD. The one I do want to watch though is that Gotham by Gaslight animated movie.
We were talking about that last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to see that one. I remember you guys talking about it. It's like, that looks good. I mean, DC's been killing on these animated movies. Just the Killing Joke still irritates me though. It really does. That whole thing with Barbara Gordon in the beginning before, I'm like, come on, really? That didn't happen.
No, but I think they were just trying to push the R rating on that. They were like, hey, look at us, we're making an R-rated cartoon. Let's push it as far as we can. And it just backfired.
Yeah,
they wanted Mark Hamill to come back as the Joker.
Well, and Mark Hamill is the Joker. I mean, you think about anybody else who could be the Joker. In animated, we'll say an animated thing. It's Mark Hamill. Kevin Conroy, he does a great Batman. Always has. But it's like if you have them, it's like all right, put Kevin and put Mark in a movie, and usually it's always going to sell. Phantasm. Still one of my favorite movies to this day.
Yep.
From an animated perspective, because the story writing just in that story, and at the end you are really surprised at the end. At the end, like who the Phantasm really is.
Yeah. That was good.
But yeah, you guys go have fun at Black Panther tomorrow. No spoilers allowed on Syndi-Comics, just like the Syndicate. I'm going to put a disclaimer out there tonight, because we definitely don't want nobody, messing it up for somebody else who ain't seen it. After a week or so, then that's all right. We won't put any like post-approval stuff like we do in the Syndicate. Because the Syndicate gets a lot. We have thousands of people in the Syndicate compared to the Syndi-Comics page. Our page is pretty small. Pretty much between me, you, and Kyle and Rosie, we're pretty much the ones who manage the page. So there ain't a whole lot of us. So, but yeah, I'll just put a disclaimer out there. No spoilers allowed. If I see one in there, I'm going to delete the post automatically. I want it to be fair for everybody, and we're usually pretty good on the comic page. We don't have the issues because it's just comics typically.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did want to make an announcement too to everybody that's watching tonight. If you want to buy, sell, or trade comics, you can do it on the Syndi-Comics page. Or if you want to do it on the buy, sell, and trade syndicate page, you can do that too. There's more stringent rules on the buy, sell, and trade, which I help run with Rube and couple of the other guys, but you can buy, sell, and trade on the Syndi-Comics page. We don't have an issue with that. So yeah, Larry, I'm doing good. We're about to get off here, man. So with that being said, that's all I got, you guys. You guys have a good night. BJ and Kyle, thanks for coming by every week, like always.
Yes, man.
No problem. Fantastic time as always.
Yeah.
Always. We always have a good time. And then next week, so when we do it next week, we'll be back on Thursday. But no spoilers allowed on Black Panther next week either.
Fair enough.
All right.
Which artist are we doing, Kyle?
We are doing. Well, who are we doing, Kyle?
It was Charles Soule, right?
All right. Well, everybody come on by, and then, like I said, we'll be talking about Donny Cates next week, y'all.
Sounds good, man.
All right. Later, guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.